Hello, PC fam. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Chill with Chill. Chill. What's going on? Looks like you working remote today.
Hey, Ox, the great thing about what we do, like even when we not home, we still home. We don't play around. The show must
Yeah,
go on. My big
no
fella on the
doubt.
road. I'm on the road.
Mm-hmm.
So the show must go on. We still doing it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm enjoying the fourth weekend. It's been good hanging out. But we're here to talk hoops, y'all. Let's get into it. Free agency been still been keeping us pretty interested, chill. We got it's looking like Al Horford is going to sign with the Warriors. I haven't seen any official reports yet,
Yeah.
but it's looking that way. And we've discussed it, you know, at times already.
Sure.
Are you happy with that move? Do you think that's the right way for him to go, or because there was also what they said the Lakers are retirement? So
Yeah. I actually like the move for him playing with the Warriors. Now, what we talked about a couple of days ago about him signing with the Lakers, I don't think that Steve Kerr is going to do what the Lakers would have done. I think that his skill set, with him being able to shoot the long ball, still good on defense, even at his advanced age, still good enough on defense. But I think his skill set ages really well, especially with the Golden State Warriors and how they play. Like, they don't play an extremely physical brand of basketball. They shoot the three like the Celtics did, but they also involve him in the game and go to his strengths, stuff that he can still be able to do at a high level, but one, at a premium price, and then two, for not a long time. Like, they don't need Al Horford to play 35 minutes a night because they got the new kid Post, right? So we're having a new kid Post. He's going to play a lot. They got Draymond. So this thing, I think this is a really good signing for them, for the Golden State Warriors. I think this could work. Yeah.
yeah, no, I mean, I think Al's still a pretty decent rebounder. You know, he's still
Yeah.
pretty decent on the glass. I think what it adds for them is there was times where I hate to use the term, but Kevon Looney became unplayable at times.
Yes.
You know, it was hard to get Kevon Looney minutes, and I think Kevon Looney actually he brings something to the Warriors. But when you can't play him, I think it's a wasted roster spot. So I think Al Horford's somebody that I've never seen in his career be unplayable. So have you ever seen Al Horford have to sit down? Like, have you ever seen
No,
Al Horford
I
get played
haven't.
off the floor?
His game is one of those games that's aged with the times, and he's always had his game be updated from whenever, like when we played in the early 2010s. Al Horford played with a style that was conducive. The big man was kind of dying, and with the big man kind of dying, Al Horford learned to stretch his game. He was always a defender. He could always rebound. So that stuff always traveled. It was the offense that kept him updated. So when he was able to stretch his game and play at the long ball line, he could always shoot the basketball, but when he was able to stretch his game and play at the long ball line as much as he did, that just made him even more valuable. And I feel like during this stretch, like you just talked about, him being able to rebound, I mean, I think that goes without saying. That's just who he is. He's always been a dirty work guy. He was like that when he was at the University of Florida. He was like that when he first came in the league. It's just the offense that just got updated. And with him playing the way he playing, even at his advanced age, I think he could still be viable for a team. And this Golden State team sounds like they fit really well.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, like we just got here. We're talking about Al Horford and the potential signing to the Golden State Warriors. There's been a lot of reports that that's where he's headed. Haven't seen anything official yet, but if it happens in the next hour and a half and we see it, we'll let you know. And
We'll
if
break
you
it.
see it before us, yeah, you break it to us. Let us know, man.
We'll break it.
Let's talk ball. Another thing happened in free agency was Kevin Durant not going to the Miami Heat. I say not going to Miami Heat because the young fella Khalil Ware would have had to be in that, and it seems that Miami chose not to move off of the young fella. He spoke on that. He said he was happy that they decided to stick with him, and he wants to grow there. Chill. What does that mean to a young player getting on a team and feeling wanted and feeling like the team is willing to invest in them and wants them to be in their organization and wants to grow with them, and they're not willing to trade you for a first ballot Hall of Famer, one of the best scorers we've ever seen in a guy like Kevin Durant? What can that mean for Khalil Ware in his growth and development with Miami?
I think it's a huge boost of confidence. I mean, it shows how much they value him, considering where we are in the league and how much parity there is, and how quickly, you know, your fortunes can change from being a good team to being a legit contender. For the Miami Heat to say, nah, we're going to pass on Kevin Durant because we value you more, and we think that in the future, you're going to be the difference in us winning and losing, whether it's in the playoffs or the championship. We think that we can build our unit around you. And a guy like Khalil Ware, who's a middle first rounder, just like Bam was, just like Tyler Hero was. When you invest in young guys like that who already think that they're under the gun, who already think that they've been doubted, when you invest in them, that just gives them a huge boost of confidence and makes them feel like not only do they believe in me, I believe in what I can do anyway. And my progression is going to show that they were wrong. Now I got to prove, but not in a bad way, Ox. It's not like, oh no, they decided to go with me. No, in a good way. They were right about me. And I'm going to prove that they were right about me. So I said this to you not too long ago, and the fellas got on me about it when I said that. I felt like the Miami Heat's point guard was in the draft. Their big man was in the draft. Bam was in the draft. Their two guard was in the draft. I feel like their point guard was in the draft too. And I think that this kid from Illinois, I think he's really going to help them. And I think that it's just a matter of time. I just feel like we're in a space right now where everything is so right now because of the parity of the league that people are jumping the gun. This kid, Khalil Ware, 7 foot, run like a deer, clean glass, awesome around the basket. His touch needs to improve 100%. Looks like he's a quick study. Looks like when he is in the pick and pop and the pick and dive, early on it didn't look like he was as comfortable because he was new, but then it looked like he started to pick it up quicker than most thought that he would. And I'm watching him not just in preseason or in the summer league, which we're going to get to in a little bit, but early on in the season, and I'm watching him in limited minutes, and I'm thinking to myself, with Coach Spoelstra, who's a great coach, I'm like, Coach, start the kid. Let's just go with the kid and see what we got, because he looks like he's ready right now. Now, I understand that you can jump the gun on a guy, Ox. I understand that you can jump the gun on a guy, and he might not be ready and you could screw him up. I didn't think that was the case with this kid. I thought that he was ready, and I thought that putting him out there, you can see right from the beginning, okay, we got something with this kid, and we can build around him. And the fact that the Miami Heat passed on Kevin Durant, who, by the way, to your point, is a fantastic talent, first ballot Hall of Famer, but we're going to stick with the young kid and we're going to build with him. I think that that's a huge boost of confidence for Khalil Ware in his game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that means a lot for them. And Miami is a team, you know how we talked about it, and we talked about the East being wide open, the league being a win now league. We talked about that, but I do think that's circumstantial. You know what I mean? Where it's like sometimes, yeah, you do need to sit down and develop your players and wait. It might take us 4 or 5 years. You know what I mean? Or but I did mention some teams before that I was like, they should make a move now. But Miami, I think, is a team that doesn't necessarily have to rush. Like, they haven't won any championships, but they've had relative success in the past 5-6 years.
Sure.
So I think Tyler Hero and Bam, I think they've had enough success so far to where it's like they're not. I don't think they're desperate to win a championship right now. And then they got Khalil Ware, a guy who I think, to your point, can develop to be a championship level center. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying he's going to be an all-time great center, but I think he can provide things on that team. And if they do draft another lead guard, and I mean, they still got Andrew Wiggins at the 3. He's a little more advanced than the others in age, but I think Bam is 27, 26?
26, 27, yeah.
26. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, they're still young over there. Miami shouldn't feel like they're in a bad situation, or they shouldn't. You're not going to win. You're not going to win a ring every year. You know what I'm saying?
Nobody's like that. So that's not going to happen.
I like the direction Miami's in, and I like Khalil Ware. I like a lot of the players over there. So they're always a threat.
If you look at the landscape of their crew, Ox, so when they were in the championship in 20, they built it around Jimmy Butler, right? They built it around Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler's the same age that Andrew Wiggins was when they first got him. They built it around him. Mm-hmm. But what they were able to do when they moved on from Jimmy Butler last season, or this season when they were able to move on from him, they still were able to keep young pieces like Tyler Hero, like Bam, and then add to those pieces with Khalil Ware, right? And to add to those pieces with Andrew Wiggins. I think the problem that we have with Miami is the fact that they were in the championship. And because we had this conversation, and because you're in the championship, there's this additive that there's this idea that we're close, we can win it. When you move off of your franchise player when you're in the championship, more times than not, we're starting over. Well, the Miami Heat, they don't have to start over because I still got Bam. I still got Tyler Hero. I still got Andrew Wiggins. I still got this kid Khalil Ware, and we're still building something. These guys aren't, or they're still in their mid-20s. With them being in their mid to late 20s, I can still build around these guys and still have some time to develop a lead guard and get us closer, as opposed to, yo, we got to do this right now. I understand the parity of the league and how close teams are. I don't think the Miami Heat are in that situation. I think they're in a situation where they might be a little bit further along, but they're not as far as people think that they are. And blowing up this unit or doing something drastic to this unit, I think would be a detriment to them.
Yeah, definitely. No, I think they feel the same way. Another potential free agent news, though, I seen Bradley Beal and the Milwaukee Bucks associated in some talks. What does that do for Milwaukee? Does Bradley Beal fit in over there? Can he help Giannis pursue another ring?
You know what we forget, Ox? We forget the fact that with making up the kind of bread that he making, like Bradley Beal is nice, yo. Let's stop acting like Bradley Beal ain't nice.
Right.
Bradley Beal can rock. Bradley Beal is not just a good player. You put him in the right system. I mean, on that Phoenix team as the third guy in limited action because he had a back problem, he still was 17 a night. And that was a 17 that really wasn't like featuring him. If he ends up on that Milwaukee Bucks team for almost nothing, if he ends up getting bought out, by Phoenix, he should be at the top of Milwaukee's list, because as much as I like Gary Trent and as much as I like what they're trying to do there, Bradley Beal is an upgrade to him. 100% Bradley Beal would be an upgrade to him.
A real upgrade, though, Chip. That's not just a little better. That's a real upgrade.
Let me rephrase that. A legit upgrade to the Milwaukee Bucks. Because he's about, like I was about to say, he's better than Gary Trent. 100% he is. So to put him in the backcourt with Kevin Porter, and then you got Giannis, and then you got Miles Turner in the hole. And with the Eastern Conference being as wide open as it is, I mean, I like them as a competitive team in the East. 100%, because again, I can't reiterate this enough. Bradley Beal was a bucket getter when he was in Washington. Bucket getter. He just ended up getting hurt, and the contract kind of overshadowed Bradley Beal being one of the best one-on-one players in the game. He's a streaky shooter, sure, but when he gets going, he can knock down the mid-range with the best of them. He can also knock down the three with the best of them, and he's one of the better athletes that I don't think people give him credit for. And I think he fits right in with what they're doing in Milwaukee in terms of their style of play, because they need somebody to stretch the defense. They need somebody outside of Giannis that they can go to for buckets. And I think that a guy like Bradley Beal, if they could get him, which will be on the cheap, let's make sure we play on that after Phoenix buys him out, they could get him on the cheap, that'll be a gift to them, 100%. Yeah.
You know, Chill, there's a lot of things that I find out on the panel. I find out by being involved with Players' Choice in general. Like the fact that I didn't know, I thought everybody thought Brad was as good as I thought he was.
Nope, obviously not.
There's things that I find out when I'll talk to people, and I'll get on the panel and I'll learn things. And when I find out that people don't like Bradley Beal as a basketball player, or they think Bradley Beal isn't as good as I think he is, I'm flabbergasted. I thought Brad was a premier shooting guard. I was still couple 3 seasons ago like, nah, Brad's top 5 shooting guard in the league. I didn't know he wasn't. So I'm not saying that I still got him in that D Mitch, book conversation. I don't. I think he's out of that conversation now. But Brad is still.
It was the money, that's what it was.
Yeah, very good basketball player.
It was the money, and it was the injuries that threw people, including myself, that threw me off the track and had me forgetting that, there was a time when, Bradley Beal was one of the better scorers in the league. I think he finished second to Curry, if I'm not mistaken. I think he finished second to Curry in the league in scoring. He was a bucket getter. He was not somebody that, can just score. No, he could light it up. And there was a time when we were having conversations about him being one of the better 2 guards. In fact, there was a time when it was him and John Wall in terms of backcourts it was Clay and Dre. I mean, it was Clay and Steph. It was DeMar DeRozan, and Kyle Lowry. It was Damian Lillard and C.J. McCollum and John Wall and Bradley Beal. That was a real conversation. We all knew that it was Steph and Clay at the top of the league in terms of the best backcourts. But then those three backcourts, there was a conversation on who was the second best backcourt in the league.
You said Dame and CJ. You said Dame and CJ, right?
I did say Dame and CJ. Yep. Okay. Dame and CJ, John Wall and Dame and CJ, John Wall and Brad and Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan. That was a real conversation. That was 100% a conversation. So, I mean, if Milwaukee can bag Bradley Beal for almost nothing after Phoenix eats that deal, he gives them a dynamic that they didn't have, and that is a guy who can go. Because one of the things I found out in the playoffs, Ox, with Tyrese Halliburton, in terms of Oklahoma City limiting him, you need a go-get-it guy. And when I say a go-get-it guy, I mean a guy who can put the ball on the floor and get to the rim. T.J. McConnell showed us that you need a dude that could get downhill and get in the paint, a dude that can get downhill and get to the rim and apply pressure on the defense, apply rim pressure, as the young guys would say. If you don't have somebody like that, then you're going to be in a world of hate, a world of hurt. And if Milwaukee can bag Bradley Beal, that'd be huge for them. Huge. For them.
I do like that, especially for a little bit of money. That's something that Milwaukee really needs. Yep. And I want Milwaukee. We need some of these East teams to start, bulking up too. The Magic got better because it seems like with a lot of the injuries in the East, it just seems like it was really a downer. With Tyrese, Dame, and JT. The East it just felt bad. So we need some of these East teams to pick it back up, get some better players. Speaking of TJ McConnell, chill.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know at some point in this offseason, maybe on the panel or something, are we going to have a serious conversation about how good TJ played with, and what I say like have a real conversation where I'm not overdoing it and y'all not hating on it. We could just be honest. Okay, this is what he did, and that way there won't be.
So you talking about so Ox, what we talking about is an honest conversation. That's what
honest conversation.
Like
honest conversation.
And we're gonna talk about what TJ McConnell did for the Indiana Pacers as a backup lead guard. An honest conversation, and not go overboard and me not like, all right, TJ, save us. No. Like chill. Let's be serious now. What did TJ?
I won't say he's better than Tyrese Halliburton.
Right, and I'm not gonna sit there and go and save us. No, let's have a real conversation about what the backup lead guard did for that crew. I'm down. I'm 100% down to do that. Yes.
Yeah. And chill. I want to have that conversation too, just because, when we had a conversation an episode before, we were talking about like roles as different positions. Mm-hmm. And I just really think that that backup point guard position is very important. I think that being able to come off the bench and apply pressure at different positions, you need a spark player. You need a backup big that can rebound and contest. You need a lead guard off the bench that's gonna maintain the pace and not falter. The offense isn't gonna take a dive when the starting point guard comes off the floor.
Sure.
Just conversations like that. I think we can have at some point in this offseason.
And talk about TJ McConnell. In fact, we talked about him earlier this year when we were talking about the sixth man of the year when Peyton Pritchard was up for sixth man of the year. And I thought that there was a real conversation, which I don't think I was wrong when I said that there was a real conversation between both Pritchard and TJ McConnell as the best backup lead guard in the game. And I didn't falter when I said that I felt like TJ McConnell, we could have a real conversation about him being the best backup lead guard in the game. I think we get off the track when we talk about guys being backups, because there's this stigma about being a backup that because you're a backup, you can't really play. Okay, I might not be what the first unit guy is, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I don't bring legit value to what we're doing. Peyton Pritchard, for example, his ability to stretch the defense, get downhill. TJ McConnell, for example, when he comes in, continuously puts pressure on the defense, which is the way Indiana plays, which keeps them in games. So when Tyrese Halliburton comes back in the game, we're still in the game because The guy coming in behind me, he kept the ship afloat. That's necessary. That's 100% necessary.
You can have situations too where the two starting guards on both teams are somewhat even.
Sure.
But my backup is so much better than your backup.
That's the difference.
You know what I'm saying? When we get back in the game, I'm up 8. You know what I mean? So that's a real thing. And Chill, you know who else is gonna I will first I'll say I think Scottie Pippen Jr. tried to put himself in those conversations last year too. And I'll tell you who's gonna put themselves back in those conversations this year. That's Tyus Jones. Yep. Tyus Jones. He's gonna go to Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the perfect place for him. I think he's just the type of dog that Orlando needs.
Why do we get wrapped up a lot of times in dudes being something more than what they already are? Tyus Jones is a backup lead guard, and so what? What's wrong with that? What's
right?
Damn, I'm thinking to myself, Ox. Man, it sucks that I'm the best backup lead guard in the game. That's a shitty title. No, it ain't.
Right? What?
I'm the best backup lead guard in the game. As you watch football, how important is the best backup quarterback in the game?
Super important.
Super important, because if my quarterback goes down, we need somebody to steady the ship. The problem that we have when we have the backup comes in and he lights it up, and we automatically think, the backup might be as good as the lead guard. Wait a minute. Let's chill out here, okay? There's a reason why I'm a backup, but that doesn't slight me as a backup. I could play 12, 15 years as a backup lead guard and be really damn good. Really damn good. There's a guy that used to play for the Boston Celtics in the 80s, and I couldn't stand the Celtics. I watched the Celtics because of Larry Bird. He's the main reason why I watched the Celtics. There was a guy on the Celtics, Jerry Seasting, played backup. Okay. That's T.J. McConnell. That's T.J. McConnell today. He was the dude who came in and gave you those minutes and he was a plus every time he showed up. Like nothing bad. More times than not, good things were going to happen when he showed up. T.J. McConnell, when he steps on the floor, more times than not, something good is going to happen when he steps on the floor. And I love that about him. Same thing with Peyton Pritchard. Something good is going to happen when he steps on the floor. And these dudes is necessary. 100% they are. Right.
Classic in the comments. I see you said that a backup QB isn't that important. I think that's crazy because I mean, if my starting quarterback hurts, messes up his elbow, shoulder, and has to miss 4 weeks, and my backup quarterback ain't worth his salt, we lose 4 games. That'll throw us out the playoffs.
We can get to the bottom of this right now, Ox. In 1999, Trent Green goes down with an ACL injury. The backup quarterback comes in. His name's Kurt Warner. They win the Super Bowl. Don't tell me that my backup quarterback ain't important. We need him. We 100% need that guy. Absolutely. My 49ers, Alex Smith gets hurt. Enter Colin Kaepernick. We go to the bowl game.
Yeah.
We ended up going to the bowl game. There's no way that you can think that your backup, not just your quarterback. I just brought up quarterback as an example, but there's no way that you can think that your backup isn't important, because if your starter goes down, if I don't have somebody to replace that, my season goes in the tank. I'm on record saying your football team is as good as your backup quarterback. Your quarterback goes down. If we sink because of your backup quarterback, we were never that good in the first place. If I got a backup lead guard like T.J. McConnell, like Peyton Pritchard, I'm sitting pretty because I feel like we got a chance in every game that we play, because there's not much that we lose. We're going to lose something when Tyrese Halliburton comes off the floor. I'm not going to argue that point. We're definitely going to lose something. We might lose your ability to pass, your ability to play make. Okay, well, we're going to make up for that by a dude getting downhill and putting pressure on the defense in the paint, by getting to the rim. We're going to make up for that in some areas. And on top of that, I get to give my lead guard some rest, so when he comes back to close games, he can see the game how it was when he was on the bench, and he's absolutely ready, as opposed to what Joker had to do, where Joker could only sit down for 2 or 3 minutes, and then he had to come right back in the game. If he had a competent backup, big, he could sit over there for another 5-10 minutes and examine the game and be better.
Speaking of which,
since we're on
let's transition there. I wanted to get into Orlando a little more, talk about Tyus and Jalen Suggs, but let's talk about Jonas Valanciunas deciding to go to Greece.
Yes.
He went back home to Europe, not home. You know, his home is Lithuania, but he went to Athens, played I can never say it. Panathinaikos. Pana. He's going to play in Pana. So he took the 3 years. He said I'm not worried about this money over here. Y'all don't got to give it to me. He would rather go play in the Euro League for 3 years. What does that say about just the tradition of basketball in Europe, where a guy, let's really break this down, Chill. Denver Nuggets are a really good basketball team.
Yes, they are.
Most people, myself included, think they reloaded this offseason. I think they were good enough to beat OKC if they stayed healthy this year. OKC won fair and square, y'all. I'm not no asterisk. OKC fans, relax. This Denver team reloaded. They did what you just said because the non-Jokic minutes are what everybody says was hurting the team. Jonas Valanciunas is no Jokic, but he's definitely. And when he went to the backup role, he became, if you ask me, the best backup center in the league. So they did that, and now he leaves. So like, I'm asking you a two-part question, really. Like, what is this move to the Euro League saying about the future of guys that are kind of transitioning to the backup, especially European players going home? Will we see more European players going home to finish out their career when he's 31? 33. I'm sorry, he's 33.
33 years old.
Yeah, he's 33. So I mean, is this a sign or is this just an anomaly? That's my first question. Second question is, what does this mean for Denver?
Well, two things, Ox. We've seen in the past where guys have gone from the NBA over to the Euro League for, one, more of an opportunity to play, and two, for more bread. I mean, in 1990, Brian Shaw was playing for the Boston Celtics, and he was offered a contract, I want to say in Spain, and Red Auerbach was like, nah, we ain't trying to hear that. And he ended up shutting that down because he was going over there. He was going to the Euro League, and he was going to take the money. And Red Auerbach shut that down. We saw Josh Childress, who used to play for the Atlanta Hawks. He ended up going to play for Olympiacos, 3 years, $20 million. 15 years ago, that was a lot of dough. And I think Valanciunas looks at himself, not just from the money aspect, but I think he looks at himself like, I'm not a backup. I can still play at a high level, and I still can contribute. I don't want to play the backup role because I think I'm still a starter in this league. So if you guys still, and don't get me wrong, Ox, sitting behind Sabonis, sitting behind Joker, that ain't nothing to sneeze at. Let's be clear about that. It's not like, I'm sitting behind Messi, right? It's not like I'm sitting behind Thomas. It's not like I'm sitting behind, the big guy, Mitchell Robinson in New York. No, I'm sitting behind legit bigs. I'm sitting behind world-class bigs. So I can understand from his aspect that I'm still a starter in this league. And with me still being a starter in this league, even though I did sit behind Sabonis, even though I did sit behind Joker, that doesn't mean that I got to sit behind everybody. No, absolutely not. I'm still a starter. Here's the problem, though, Ox. The problem is that with Denver retooling, well, that hole is open back up now. The hole that we closed with Valanciunas, it's now open again because he was the consummate backup for Denver. He was going to give them the minutes that he was going to be more productive in the minutes that DeAndre Jordan was there. Okay, now I got a guy who can knock down a mid-range shot. I got a guy who can stretch the defense. I got a guy who can clean glass. I got a guy who will help us. Who will help us who will help us cover some of those Joker minutes when he's off the floor. Well, now we don't have that. So now I got to go back now I got to go back to the store, and now I got to go find another backup big. I probably won't be able to find one like Valanciunas, but I still think that there's some available. So Thomas Bryant with the Indiana Pacers, he's available. So Jackson Hayes is off the table, but Thomas Bryant is still available. I'd probably call him up to see what I can get for him.
Well, chill. Quan made a good point because, like we talked about earlier today, I haven't seen any official reports on Al Horford.
I haven't seen any either, and I think Al Horford would 100% be great in Denver. Playing behind Joker, 100%, he would be great. Playing not only playing behind Joker, playing with Joker. Because I had this conversation not too long ago. Joker was the one who started that. Mike Malone was the one who implemented that offense where we had the 4 and 5 pick and roll where Joker was the 5 and Mason Plumlee was diving to the paint. We can do that same thing with Joker and Al Horford because of the ball handler that Joker is, because of Joker's skill set. Well, if I can get Al Horford in the fold, I'm 100% doing that. Hell yes, I'll do that today, no doubt about that. Yeah. But they do have to fill a hole that they had before that was already filled.
I'm happy for the big fella.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm happy for him because he's just one of the players I've always liked. I've always liked his game. He's not the defensive presence that I wish he would have been, especially with the size he has. But he's aggressive down low. He still bangs. He's physical in the paint. And what I thought was going to really help that second unit in Denver is his passing ability.
Yes.
He's a pretty decent passer. You know what I mean? So,
what is this Euro thing, man, with these big men that all look like they pass their ass off? What is that about, man? Like, these dudes just show up and these guys are great passers. Valanciunas, I'm not gonna say Valanciunas is in the level of Joker, but Valanciunas, Joker, like it seems like the big man, Sabonis, these guys all know how to deal the ball.
I think what they've been doing over there is something that we're just now all doing more in America. Like we've had big guys that can handle the ball. I'm not saying that. We've always had that in America. But I think the problem in America mostly is that, like in at the youth level, we get a coach that sees a tall kid and they're like, okay, let's get him over there working on straight post work instead of getting it comfortable. I think over there they're more with how I always say, you have to be comfortable 94 feet. You know what I'm saying? Everywhere on the court. It doesn't mean you have to be a long ball shooter. It doesn't mean you have to be tween. But anywhere you get the ball, you need to be comfortable with it and not panic. You know what to do with it. I think they do that over there. I think they've always done that over there. And I think over here, it's more of, you're big, okay, you're gonna play down low. Like when I was younger, too, I was above average height, but nobody thought I was gonna be 6'8". You know what I mean?
Right.
So my pops was always like, you gotta be able to dribble, gotta be able to shoot it, because you be messing around, be like 6'4", 6'5", you can't play down low. You know what I mean? And then I end up being 6'8", with the handle and really good passing ability. Yeah. You know what I mean? So
you weren't uncomfortable anywhere on the floor. Like when you got the ball 20 feet away from the basket, you didn't have a problem. Like, come get it, because I'm not supposed to be out here.
Not at all. So I'll get it off the glass and we're gone. Let's go. Just run with me. I'll get you. I grew up on Magic. So so we got to pass. But yeah, I mean, I really like that about those players. Even the ones that are a little lackluster on the defensive end. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, I don't like that, but I like all basketball. So
sure.
I think it'll be. I think over there, the basketball culture is so rich in the EuroLeague that I think it's like, if we win some rings over, if he goes over there and wins some championships in the EuroLeague, I think he's going to have I think that'd be an amazing career for him.
Yes.
So,
and the EuroLeague ain't no joke.
Not at all.
People think that because it's Europe and there's lesser than players. The EuroLeague is a big time league. It's ballers in the EuroLeague. Not everybody that plays in the NBA, their game can translate over to the EuroLeague. One of my best friends, his name's Roy, he played in Europe for 12 years. And I remember him telling me that there's only a few guys that he saw in the NBA, because he played in Russia one year, which was in the EuroLeague. And I remember him telling me he thought that Carmelo Anthony was the perfect 4-man for the EuroLeague because of the way his game was. He could be fantastic at the 4 spot.
Yeah.
Face-up guy, can score it with anybody, bust your ass to the basket. He had a perfect game for the EuroLeague, but not everybody does. Ball dominant guys, and when I say ball dominant guys, I mean ball dominant guys who they got the ball and they're dribbling 5, 6, 7, like guys like James Harden. I don't think James Harden's game would have translated to the EuroLeague. I don't.
Oh, right.
I don't.
Too much. Yeah. So Russ hasn't signed yet, right? He's still
he has not.
Remember, there were rumblings about some EuroLeague teams getting ready to make him a pretty sizable offer.
Sure.
Man, and so chill. If Russ made that transition, I think we might start seeing more of that.
I wouldn't be surprised, but Russ has already made it clear that he's looking to play closer to home.
Okay.
But when I'm looking to play closer to home, it's kind of tricky, because I'm thinking to myself, well, if he's looking to play closer to home, okay, he already played for the Clippers. Okay, we did that. He already played for the Lakers. I'm definitely not going back there. That was a disaster. Phoenix is. I wouldn't be surprised if Phoenix took a sniff and came and kicked the tires, because that Los Angeles is not that far from Phoenix. Not just there, but Sacramento has already shored up their lead guard spot. They already straight there. They got Devin Carter. They got
Dennis.
Yes, Dennis Schroeder. They got Dennis Schroeder. So with that, now who's left? The Golden State Warriors. They're already straight with their lead guard spot. So now that leaves the Trailblazers. That's not close to home. That's just on the West Coast. That's not necessarily close to home. So, like, what else? Who else is left for Russ?
The Phoenix.
Phoenix is the only one I'm thinking about. Yes, Phoenix is the only one I'm thinking about.
Well, we'll see, Russ. I don't know. I mean, that's a lot of the free agency talk. Chill. Let's to wrap up the free agency talk so we can get into the summer league. Chill. Let's maybe do some grading. Maybe let's run down a couple teams and talk about what you think they've done this summer league as far as a grade, and just point out some of the good moves and maybe even some of the moves that you thought they could have made, should have made, or you would have made.
So I'm going to start with the Atlanta Hawks. I really like what they did with signing Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Luke Kennard. I think that gives these guys more buckets coming off the bench, because you lose Karis LeVert in free agency to Detroit. In addition to losing him, you lose Clint Capella. So now that opens up more. I feel like that opens up more playing time for Okongwu. That opens up more playing time for Richier. And now you bag KP. I think that this team now, I think that they're more viable than they were in the past. With losing those vets like Larry Nance, with losing those vets, like Clint Capella. Okay, well, how does this help us? Because we do need vets. Well, you still got vets, right? You still got vets in Trae Young. You still got a vet in KP. And Alexander Walker is going to give you a guy who can get you buckets. He's going to compete on the defensive end. Luke Kennard, because Atlanta plays with one of the fastest paces in the league, I think that he's going to be a stop and pop guy. I wouldn't be surprised if his 3-point percentage went up, considering the playmaker and distributor that Trae Young is. So I really like what Atlanta did. There's some people who don't think that the Celtics did a good job. I'm going to be quite honest.
Before you move on to them, though, Chill, Atlanta, I just want to say Dyson and Nickeil. I think what we're going to see some nights where they put that opposing backcourt
in jail.
Put them in, I was gonna say hell, but yes, jail. Yes, they are going to disrupt some offensive flow. 100%.
100%. They're gonna do that.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that. I think that was a great move for Atlanta. But go ahead. You were saying the Celtics. I think?
Ox, a lot of people are real critical of what the Boston Celtics did. I love it, to be honest with you. And the reason why I love it is because they opened up so much money. And next year's free agent, let me run down a list of guys that are going to be available next year in terms of free agency. James, Bradley Beal, KD, Trae Young, Luka, Zach LaVine, James Harden, De'Aaron Fox, CJ McCollum, Kristaps Porzingis, Andrew Wiggins, Hartenstein, John Collins. These are just to name a few guys that are going to be available in free agency next year. And the Celtics, because they opened up a lot of money, they're going to have a lot of money to play with. Now, I know that, they got off of that money because they didn't want to get into the second apron. However, I also think that with this free agency class coming up next year, I think that this puts them in space where they can really find some better players and put some better players, because you're going to get Jason Tatum back. You're going to get Jaylen Brown back. I think Derek White's still going to be in the fold. You end up losing Drew Holiday. You end up losing KP. You got Cater. You end up losing Luke Cornett. So with losing those three guys, I feel like that hole can be filled. One more time?
Al Horford, too.
And you lose Al Horford. So next season in free agency, I think that you're going to be in a space where I think you can really make some moves. So I like what they did in the roster.
But what type of splash can they make? Can they sign a guy like an expensive guy like Foxy, or do they need to? Are they looking to have a couple small contracts? Like, what type of
I'm
money do
thinking,
they have over there?
I'm thinking we go back to like the Porzingises and the Drew
Okay.
Holidays. We get in that space again. Guys
Okay.
like DeJounte Murray, and I mean DeJounte Murray's already on the books in New Orleans. But a guy like that, like a big time defensive guard that can really help us, who can score it. Not only can he score it, but he plays defense. Porzingis, a guy that is going to give me solid minutes. I think John Collins is going to be a steal in free agency next year. A guy like that, a dirty work guy like that you can probably get for a little. When I say a little bit of money, I mean like he's not going to command $40 to $45 million. You could probably get him at a premium of like 25, a 4-year deal for $100 million. I love John Collins in Boston, right? So I'm thinking of guys like that in that space, as opposed to another superstar. We already got Jaylen Brown. We already got Jason Tatum. Now it's just a matter of filling those other holes.
Right. What do you see for a guy like not a guy like specifically? What do you see for De'Aaron Fox in his future? Do you think that the Spurs are a place where he could stay? Because, like you said, he is a free agent at the end of this season. Are the Spurs a place we can stay and grow with Victor Wembanyama and the rest of those young fellas, or is he on the move? And if he is on the move, what type of team do you think will go after him?
It depends, Ox, on what Dylan Harper looks like, because we're gonna get this season with Foxy his full season. Like, we got him in the middle of the season last year in San Antonio and really didn't get a chance because he also got hurt. So we really didn't get a chance to see what he looked like. Now we get a full season with him and Wemby. So it's going to depend on what Dylan Harper looks like early. If Dylan Harper looks like their lead guard of the future and they got him on a rook deal, they will move off of De'Aaron Fox. And with moving off of De'Aaron Fox, now don't get me wrong, we're not going to move off of De'Aaron Fox and just let him walk out the front door. No, they'll probably move off of De'Aaron Fox and get something substantial for him because they're already building the unit that they're trying to build around Wemby. I'd like to see this thing materialize between Wemby and Foxy because I think it can work. I think Foxy's one of the best downhill guys in the league. I think he's got a great stop and pop game. And I think that this thing can, and he will compete on the defensive end. I think this thing with him, between both him and Wemby, I think that this thing could work off the strength that Wemby's such a dynamic offensive player that he's not primarily a box player where he's going to clog up the lane. Not only is he not primarily a box player who's going to clog up the lane, he's also a guy who's not just going to stretch the defense too. He'll also play in the post, right? You can get quick hits from him. So I think, Ox, that this thing is going to be predicated on whether or not Dylan Harper develops fast. If he develops fast, they may very well just look at De'Aaron Fox and look to move off him, off the strength of him being cheap too, because he's still on his rook deal.
Right. Well, if Foxy leaves, will he be traded or is it going to be just?
We're not letting him walk out the front door, Ox. No way are we doing that. Hell no. No way are we letting him walk out the front door. And I don't think the Celtics have any assets that San Antonio is particularly interested in right now in order to get Foxy at this stage. And I think you could convince Fox because, again, he's on an expiring deal. And with him being on an expiring deal, he holds all the leverage. So you're not just going to ship him to Charlotte, even though they already got Colin Sexton. But you're not just going to ship him to a bad situation. Because if you try to ship him to a bad situation, they put themselves in a bind because you ain't going to have him after next year. And he gets to walk out the front door. So they don't want to do that. However, they also don't want to hand him over for a bucket of extra crispy and a six-pack neither. No, we're not going to do that. So I definitely think that he's going to I definitely think he's going to be on the move. Some spaces that I think that he could play in. Atlanta's already straight in their lead guard position. In the Eastern Conference, let's see. Cleveland's already straight. I think we could possibly convince them to go to Boston. The Knicks are already straight. Atlanta's already straight. Detroit is already straight. A team that I'm thinking about right off the top of my head, what would it cost Miami to get Foxy in Miami? Because and if I could keep most of what I got Bam, Ware, let's see, Tyler Hero and Wiggins, Plus I got Jaime Jaquez and I got some draft picks. What would it cost me to get Foxy down here and be able to keep most of what I have? Kind of like what happened in Houston, where you trade for KD, but you're still able to keep Amin Thompson and Jabari Smith and Sengun, right? And Tari. You're still able to keep them guys. Well, what would it cost to get Fox in Miami and still be able to keep Bam and Khalil Ware, Hero? Would I give up Hero for Fox? I don't love it.
You gotta keep Tyler's.
Yeah, I don't love it. Would it? I can't give up the. I don't think San Antonio wants that big guard that. I don't think San Antonio wants that big guard that Miami just drafted out of Illinois. I don't think that they want him off the strength that they just got Dylan Harper. So, what would it cost me?
You got to put Jovic in there. A couple of guys like that, some picks. I don't know. Chill. I'm gonna tell you. And we talked about this. I mentioned this a while ago, and Mad Max put it in the chat too. I really want to see Fox and Ant together. I want to see Anthony Edwards and De'Aaron Fox get down together. That's what I want to see. I want to see them terrorize the NBA for a little bit.
They definitely need a league guard in Minnesota. I'm thinking Miami, because him and Bam went to school together. They were both at Kentucky together. They had a damn good team. They ended up getting bounced, and they took it really hard. But I don't hate him in Minnesota, Ox. I don't hate him in Minnesota at all, because they do need a league guard. The question is okay, you already signed you already signed Naz Reid. You got Ant for 3 or 4 more years. Not only do you have Ant for 3 or 4 more years, I think Rudy comes off the books at the next season. But I think we got to keep Rudy in the fold. You extended Julius Randle. What is it going to cost for Fox to come to Minnesota? I love Fox in Minnesota, by the way. Love it. Love Fox in Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm seeing Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
So today the summer league starts in San Francisco and Salt Lake City.
Yep.
The official, the main summer league in Vegas doesn't start till next Friday, I believe.
The 10th.
Oh, the 10th. Okay, so Thursday.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, 10th. So that one starts on Thursday, but we're in Golden State today. We'll have the Los Angeles Lakers, the Miami Heat, the San Antonio Spurs, and the Golden State Warriors all playing at Chase Center today, tomorrow, and Tuesday. Yes, Tuesday. So of those three teams, like I said, the Lakers, the Heat, the Spurs, and the Warriors, is there anybody that you're particularly curious to see?
Yes. Well, one, I'm interested to see Bronny James' improvement. I want to see what the kid's been working on. I want to see how much better the kid's gotten. And we saw this last year when he was in the summer league, and we saw flashes of it. And like, I saw a 17-point game. I think I saw 17 and 5 assists. And I'm watching this and I'm thinking to myself, all right, well, this is probably what he would have looked like if he stayed in school. Like if he was in the Big Ten last year, this is probably what it would have looked like. It would have been like between 15 and 18 a game, between 3.5 and 6 assists a game. This is probably what it would have looked like. I want to see what kind of improvement he's had. He looks like he's gotten stronger. I saw him in a clip. He's jumping a little bit higher. I'm looking forward to seeing him. I'm going to get Dalton Knecht in the summer league too, Ox, because I need him to get some run. I need him to get some confidence because, again, he was dealt. And with him being dealt mentally, especially as a rookie, that can do something to your psyche. So I'd like to see what he looks like in this summer league. Him stretching the defense. I want to see if he can put the ball on the floor a little bit more. I want to see if that defense has improved. Now, again, when I say stuff like defense improving, I'm not talking about Drew Holiday, right? I'm not talking about Avery Bradley. What I am talking about is your ability to compete on a defensive end. This is the best time to do that. I don't think that there is a time better, because I can tell you when it's not the best time to do it. It ain't the best time to do it when we're in the middle of the season. That's not the best time to do it. This is the best time to do it. So Bronny James is a guy that I'm thinking about. Dalton Knecht is a guy that I'm looking forward to. Who else is playing tonight, Ox? You said the Clippers. You said the Lakers.
No, it's the Lakers, the Heat, and the Lakers, the Heat, the Warriors.
Yeah.
And 1 second, I'll pull it right back up. I just had it.
But the Warriors, and before you go any further, I'm looking forward to Post playing in the Something League again. I want to see what kind of improvement he's made. I'm looking for him, and I might be in the minority. I want Khalil Ware to play in the Summer League.
Spurs.
And the Spurs, sure.
The Spurs. But the young fella's not playing.
The Dylan Harper.
Harper's not playing.
I think he's got a foot issue. No problem. But I'm putting Khalil Ware in the Summer League, Ox. I want him to get some reps. Just like you did with Sacramento when Keegan Murray, even though he only played a couple of games, I want to put Khalil Ware in the Summer League. A lot of these guys, I saw a documentary, Ox. A lot of these guys look forward to the Summer League. A lot of these guys want to play in the Summer League. It's the organizations that hold them out. I saw Kevin Durant. I saw Nate Robinson talk about wanting to play more in the Summer League. I saw Blake Griffin talk about wanting to play more in the Summer League. But it's the organizations that hold them out because of getting hurt. I've never bought into that ideology off the strength that if you think you're going to get hurt, you're going to get hurt. That's what's going to happen.
I mean, these dudes are hoopers. They want to play ball.
Yes, that's exactly what they want to do, Ox, to your
Especially
point.
They're young. They're 19, 20, 21. They want the ball. Let them play.
That's exactly what they want to do. And I saw this documentary, Russell Westbrook. They was asked, Russ, if you wasn't doing this, what would you be doing? This right here. This is what I would be doing if I wasn't here. So I might as well be here.
I'll be in the gym somewhere. That's what you do. When you're a hooper, you hoop. I don't understand what do you think I want to do? This is what I do. I play basketball. So I don't get it.
If I wasn't here, what do you think I would be doing? You think I'd be like in the club somewhere? Or you think I'd be off gallivanting doing something else? No, I'd probably be in the gym. That's what I would be doing.
Be in the lab.
Right. So to your point, Ox, so Dylan Harper isn't playing, right? So with Dylan Harper not playing, that's fine. But I'm looking forward to I'm looking forward. I was looking forward to him, but with Miami, I want to see Khalil Ware in the Summer League. I want him to get some reps. I want him to get some touches. I want to see what kind of development I'm looking at with this kid. So those are the guys that I'm thinking about in particular.
Okay. Well, in Utah, the Salt Lake City Summer League kicks off today as well. So they'll be going today, take tomorrow off, and then play Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah.
In this one, it's going to be obviously the Utah Jazz, the Memphis Grizzlies, OKC Thunder, and the Philadelphia 76ers. So people are looking forward to seeing VJ Edgecombe and Ace Bailey here. What do you think about this Summer League?
I've always liked this Summer League, right, in Salt Lake City. So VJ Edgecombe, the thing that I like about him, and I'm in the minority because a lot of guys won't talk about it, I want to see what your motor looks like. And the thing about VJ that I love about him, the skill set is already there, Ox. What I like about him is his awareness on defense. Couple his awareness on defense with his ability to compete. Because a lot of guys, they won't compete because defense ain't really that cool. If I'm being honest with you, defense isn't the three-pointer. Defense isn't dunks, right? Defense isn't the long ball in baseball. So it's not cute. It's not fashionable. So the guys like VJ Edgecombe who will compete on the defensive end, he gives me the idea of watching him that, this kid, I want to see not just him compete, but I want to see what it's going to look like translating over to the pro game. And I think that he's going to be something. I think he's going to be something to watch. Ace Bailey is a guy, I saw a little bit of him this season, but I'm looking forward to seeing him in the pro game because I think that's where he tailored his game more than anything. He tailored his game more for the pro game than he did anything else. So I want to see what that turnaround jump shot looks like. I want to see what that handle looks like in pro rules. I want to see if he can get on the glass and rebound and push the break. I want to see what he looks like in isolation when a team goes after him. Particularly him. I want to see what he looks like. So in Oklahoma City, the guy that I'm looking forward to the most, Ox, and I've been talking about him the whole time. You already know who I'm talking about. The kid. I'm looking forward to this kid Topich. I'm looking forward to seeing what he looked like. Word on the street was if he was coming out in this draft this year, bless you. If he was coming out in the draft this year, he would have been a top 5 pick. He was almost a top 5 pick last year. He should be. If he didn't get hurt, he would have been a top 5 pick last year. If he didn't tear his knee up, that was the consensus on him. Had he not gotten hurt, he would have been a top 5 pick last year. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what he can do. And from the little bit of from the small amount of clips that I've seen from him, his pull-up game looks elite. It looks like it can be elite. It looks like it's raw, but it looks like it can be elite. Him getting downhill, especially with the weak hand, he looks like he's gonna be something special. I love everything about this kid, Ox. I'm looking forward. I'm really looking forward to seeing him.
Yeah, definitely. I think this summer league in Utah is actually going to be pretty good.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. All those matchups, all those guys. I know I'm gonna be tapped in. Y'all make sure y'all watch some basketball today, tomorrow, Monday, and Tuesday. Y'all, we got some basketball going on. Summer league is in effect, y'all. Let's check it out. I got a couple super chats. Alan R said we better not sign Murray. He's talking about the Celtics and DeJounte, I believe. Excuse me. We got another super chat from Cowboy Bob. Adding Gilgeous-Alexander Walker to Miami, I think this helps their team out a lot.
He means Atlanta.
Atlanta, right? Okay.
Yeah, he meant Atlanta.
Yeah, definitely. And then also feel like Bates might have a chance to develop in ATL. Go New York, go.
I don't hate that, Ox, to be honest with you. I mean, I've seen a couple of sets with Amani Bates, and sure, he doesn't look like supremely athletic, but the stuff that I've seen with his game looks like it can translate to the pro game. I mean, he's not blowing by guys, but he creates enough separation where he can get his shot off. He can knock down an open shot, which I love that about him. I think the biggest problem with him is on the defensive end. So with the biggest problem with him being on the defensive end, we got to enhance what he does on the offensive end. So if I put him around guys like a Trae Young, who can create an open shot for him, or where we can get it to him where he can get quick hits, because I think that's what his game would entail, like a lot of quick hits, some isolation, and I think he'd be really good in Atlanta. Yes, I think Cleveland made a mistake passing on him. I do. And I understand that, they got a bit of a log jam, but I think that they made a mistake passing on him. I think this kid's a player. I do.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's been in the spotlight for a while. We're just waiting for the breakthrough, I suppose. Yeah. Chill. Before we get to the lobby, I want to talk to you about something, because a player that both of us like came up. I believe it was on a Twitch stream with Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving was talking about John Wall. John Wall being a number one pick and them going back-to-back number ones, and what that did for point guards, and just kind of talking about him and John Wall's matchup.
Yep.
I know I'm a huge John Wall fan. I believe you are too, Chill.
I am.
Let's talk about that a little bit in John Wall's career, where he peaked at, and just everything Kyrie had to say.
Well, here's the thing, Ox. Kyrie Irving recognizes, like you just mentioned not too long ago, we talked about Summer League, as a hooper. He recognized another hooper. He recognized another baller. And to come along during that time, which is, if the 90s was the golden era of basketball, the 2010 was the golden era of point guards, where you had John Wall and Steph and Chris Paul and Rondo, Damian Lillard and Russell Westbrook, right? Darren Williams was even, and he was on the other side of it, but Darren Williams was running around during that time. And there weren't many league guards in the game that did what John Wall did in terms of, and Derrick Rose was in that space too. But there weren't many league guards who did what Derrick Rose, what John Wall did. From an athletic standpoint, he was right there with guys like Russell Westbrook. I think he was a better athlete than John Wall. I mean, I think he was a better athlete than Derrick Rose. Got downhill with the best of them, finished with both hands. And I don't just mean finishing around the rim. I mean finishing above the rim with both hands. He had a stretch, Ox, 5 years where he was a 20-10 guy. I mean, if you're a 20-10 guy during the golden age of league guards, that's a big deal. He was definitely one of the better passers in the game, one of the better scorers in the game. And I think what people don't realize about John Wall, he was 6'4". He was a big-ass guard. Like, he wasn't a small dude. He wasn't a 6 foot, 6'1" guy. He was a big guard. And on top of that, he was elite on the defensive side of the ball. He made the all-league defensive team. He would compete on the defensive side. He was one of the better on-ball defenders. His career ended up getting derailed later on, because of circumstances. But John Wall was definitely one of the best league guards in the game during his time. He was fantastic.
Yeah, great guard. One of my favorites at the time for sure.
Yes, sir.
Kyrie had some really good things to say about John Wall. It's always good to hear things like that from players that competed against each other and just respect each other.
Yep.
Shout out to John Wall and Kyrie. This is the point of the show where we open up the lobby, y'all. Let's hear what the people got to say. Today we're going to start with Cozy Newton.
What up?
Cozy.
What's good, y'all?
What up?
What's up? I had a question about the summer league as far as like rookies go. Like tonight, we're about to see VJ Edgecombe versus Ace Bailey. How much do you think? Like I remember Wemby in his first summer league game, he didn't play too well, and people were just like harping on him, giving him a hard time about it, but they weren't being patient about it.
Yeah.
How much do you think it matters, like coming out as a rookie in their first summer league game? How much, like how they perform, how teams look at them? How much you think that matters?
I think that it depends on what you're looking for, Cozy. So what I'm looking for is signs of what your game, signs of what's in your game that translate over to the next level. So when I saw Wemby, the first thing I thought about, okay, the size, the touch around the rim. I wasn't thinking about shooting the long ball because that kind of stuff, we can develop that. There's plenty of guys who weren't able to shoot and then they showed up and they were able to shoot. I was looking at the stuff like his size, his ability, his touch around the rim, how he deciphers defenses. Okay, this looks like something that will translate over to the next level. What I'm looking at with guys like Ace Bailey, with VJ, I'm not looking at the one-on-one matchup. I don't care about that. What I'm looking at is, VJ, how does your game translate to the next level? Because you being in the summer league, this isn't what the NBA is going to be. The NBA is going to be a lot different. You're going to get hunted. Not only are you going to get hunted, you're going to be dared to take shots because you're not coming into the game as a shooter. You're going to get dared to score on guys. Same thing with Ace Bailey. You being 6'7", 6'8", you're going to get hunted on defense. They're going to make you guard. How do you compete? These are the things that I'm looking for with these young guys.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of times it's more about looking comfortable out there than actual like getting buckets, putting up big points, big numbers as far as like rookies go. But I'm excited for this weekend, this whole summer league. A lot of second year players I'm looking at. But no, I'm just excited for it.
Absolutely, man. I've always been one. And over the last couple of years, I've gotten more into the summer league. I remember it was in the summer of 2017 when I really got into it, when I saw Jason Tatum for the first time. Then I started watching summer league a lot more than I had done in the past. Like, we didn't really see much from Zion in the summer league the first time he showed up. But we did see flashes of athleticism.
Yeah.
We saw that, and it just looked like it was something that was going to transfer. And it did. It 100% did.
Exactly. That's all I got, y'all.
Absolutely, brother. Good to talk to you.
All right, Cozy. Appreciate you, fam.
Yes, sir.
All right, Docs.
Yeah, I look forward to the summer league, man, because I just want to see what these guys look like. I want to see if they're going to compete. I want to see if it's just I'm just here for the check, or are the people that's in their ear, are they telling them the right things? That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, definitely. I really like when the second year guys play too. So seeing that,
I don't understand why they don't more. That's still that part still bugs me out, Ox. Like, why those second year guys don't play more? Because you to your point, I'm a hooper. I ain't doing nothing else.
Yeah.
Where else am I playing at? What's the big deal me playing in Salt Lake for a game or two? Yes, I'm coming to Salt Lake City 100%. I'm coming to the Chase Center. I'll play in a game or two. I might not have to play the entire summer league, and sure, it might look like it when I play in the summer league that I'm a superior talent to the rest of these dudes. That doesn't mean that I can't play offs, because I do need to get some run. I 100% need to get some run.
Chill. I'm even third year guys. It's not, to me, it's not so much about what year you're in.
Yeah.
It's more so about what development do you need, or do I want to see some guys play with you, or and also it's kind of like even though some guys that aren't going to get signed, it's still good for them to play because they can get opportunities. Let other teams look at them, other scouts from other leagues look at them.
Yep.
So I understand that as far as opportunity for them. So I would still like to get those guys involved as well.
Yep.
But when it's about developing my rookies and things like that, I might let some other guys get involved as well. But I'm excited for Summer League, man. Y'all make sure to tap into that. Next up on the stage, we have who we got? Oh, Rock Out Deuce. Yo, Deuce.
What up?
What up, fellas?
What up?
So I had talked to Chill about this yesterday, I think yesterday morning, and I had told him that like I think it's the perfect time to start getting rid of the conferences and just put the best 16 teams, just due to the simple logic of the Western Conference is going to be so good. It's going to be like 3 or 2 good teams that's going to miss the playoffs. Like if I had to name 8 right off the top right now, you're going to have OKC, Houston, Denver, who else? Dallas,
Minnesota, the Clippers,
Minnesota, Lakers, Clippers, Warriors, Memphis. But it's just a real possibility that 2 of those good teams are probably gonna miss it.
Yep.
So I think it's a perfect time to introduce just putting the best 16 teams. I think it'll be better for the league, better for the viewers. I think it will pressure teams to even get better, and we'll get like more blockbuster deals going. I just think it'll be perfect. How you feel about it?
I just think me and him talked about this yesterday, Ox. I mean, the fact that they just implemented the Eastern Conference and Western Conference MVPs, Western Conference Championship MVP and the Eastern Conference Championship MVP, it kind of throws a monkey wrench in it because it puts some validity on what those guys are doing. So that's a part of my resume. I'm the Western Conference Finals MVP.
Yeah.
I'm the Eastern Conference Finals MVP, even if the Eastern Conference isn't as strong as you would like it to be, right? But the fact that they implemented the Magic Johnson in the Larry Bird Award, I mean, what it's done is it's added so many different things, so many more different layers now to what we already doing. And it would be, and it's not that I don't want to use it because I'm definitely down to try it. But if this Eastern Conference and Western Conference MVP wasn't in it, I'd be all for it. I would be all for it.
Yeah. So my thing is, that's in the when it comes down to what we're gonna gain from having the 1 through 16, I think that the Eastern Conference MVP and Western Conference MVP, I think it's minuscule. You know what I mean? I think it's one of those things where we don't, if that's what we have to sacrifice, so be it. Also, I do feel like you can still implement those awards just in another way. It just won't be
That's
called.
just I was about to ask. You beat me to it.
You know what I'm
I was just about to ask that.
And it could be a different. Different, call it something different, but still give the award. You know, it might go to when you get to the semifinals. You know what I'm saying? The semifinals, you get whoever plays the best in this part of the bracket. Or we can call this side of the bracket something. This side of the bracket would be called gold. This one could be called platinum. Just for example, you're the platinum MVP.
What you're doing, Ox, what it sounds to me like you're doing is you basically got an NCAA tournament style, right, of 16 teams. With these 16 teams, now when we get to the Final Four, I got the, like in the NCAA tournament, I got the regional MVP. So in the East region, I was the MVP of the East regional. And then I got the Final Four, which would be the last 4 teams, and whoever won the championship, you got the Finals MVP, and then I got the MVP of the Final Four.
Basically, yeah, you could do something. You could do something like that.
Interesting.
You know what I'm saying? But it's not. But it won't be the same because you know what I'm saying. It won't be one and done. We'll still have 7-game series. You know what I mean? It won't be loser winner go home situation. But
and we can take the travel off the table too, Ox. Let's take the, because that's dead. That logic is over.
Yeah, that's not an issue. That's not
a problem no more.
But I think it's better for the game personally. And I mean, there still is an Eastern Conference. It's still a Western Conference. You know what I mean? Like these, y'all still in the East, y'all still in the West. You know. But I just think it's better for the game.
Let me ask you this though, because again, this is where it gets tricky. Right, and I'm going to play the devil's advocate here. So we got this 16-team playoff that you guys are talking about. What happens when 12 of them 16 teams is from the West?
That's just what it is.
You got to deal with it. That pressures the East to get better. That's my point. It just pressures them to get better. like take care of your health, really make the best moves for your team. It just pressures them. It puts so much pressure, and I feel like you get way better basketball like out of it. Because Chill and Ox, bro, I'm tired of watching Cleveland face the damn Heat in the first round. I don't want to watch that. The only people that's watching that are the core Miami Heat fans and the Cleveland fans. Like nobody else is going to tune into that. Like we all know the
So we
Cavs
don't
going.
care about Memphis and Oklahoma City in round one neither. We don't care about that.
I didn't
Hey,
watch that.
some
I
people,
didn't
some
watch.
people, some people, including me, actually thought we had a chance against OKC.
Oh,
And
Deuce,
we,
come on.
no, hey, listen, you gotta. Hey, when you a fan, Ox, you a little delusional, all right? I was a little delusional.
I look. I mean, I believe you might have heard me saying if we make it out to play and we beating them too. I said it.
Yeah,
I hear you.
The delusion is in full effect over here, guys.
That's what I'm saying.
But this is my final thing about it, Chill. That's not. I hear what Deuce is saying. It puts pressure on them to get better. But my thing is that's just not our problem. I want to see the best 16 teams in the playoffs. Exactly. You know what I mean? The best 16 teams need to be in the playoffs, and that's it.
Because imagine if you got a team out the Western Conference that's I don't know, 47 win, 48 win team, and they don't make the playoffs. I'm like, God damn, all that work for nothing? We can't even make the playoffs.
I think we're gonna see that this year, to be honest with you. I think
exactly.
We're gonna see a 45.
That honestly could be us. It honestly could be us.
I wouldn't be surprised if I seen a 45 win team this season, 46 win team this season miss the playoffs. That would not surprise me at all.
That could be us, and I'm gonna be pissed if that's us. I'm gonna be
see that happening.
Yeah, man. So who y'all looking forward to watching in the summer league?
I'm looking forward to watching Trey Johnson. I love that kid. I think that Charlotte made a mistake passing on him for Knipple. I like Knipple as a shooter. I just think Trey Johnson does more, and I think he's a better player, and I think he fits better with what's going on in Charlotte. I'm looking forward to watching him in the summer league. I think he's a baller.
Have you watched Cedric Coward at all? The guy we drafted?
I haven't seen much of him. No.
Who you looking forward to, Ox?
I'm actually want to see VJ. I want to see VJ Eshkin. That's what I want to see. I want to see how he looks in the program.
Yep.
All right, man. It's good talking to y'all, man. I'm gonna holler at y'all.
Talk to you.
All right, dude. Yeah, Chill. I'm telling you, in order to save this will save the integrity of basketball that 1 through 16.
Well, Ox, like I told you, what you've done when you first brought up this 16-team playoff, I wasn't buying it at all. I'm like, wait a minute, the Eastern Conference Championship, the Western Conference Championship, that means something. It's like the NFC Championship. It's like the AFC Championship in football. It means something. But when you're talking about having a 16-team playoff, all right, so we're gonna eliminate the conferences. We get to the end of the season, and we get the best 16 teams in the league, and now we get to find out who the best team is. We still keeping a 7-game format. All right, I could get with that, but we're gonna find out who the best team is. I'm willing to give it a try, and if it doesn't work in 2-3 years, then we can go back to the Eastern Conference and Western Conference. I'm down to do that. But what I want to do is I want it to be gone, the notion that the NBA Finals really was the Western Conference Championship. The NBA Finals was really the Eastern Conference Championship, because that they're going to destroy in the East, so they're going to destroy in the West. So I really want to get rid of that narrative, even though the Eastern Conference has gotten better. And on top of the Eastern Conference getting better, let's not forget that I think over the last 7 champions, 3 of them came out the East. So, I mean, it's not like the East has been whacked. The East has gotten substantially better over the last 6-7 years than it was in the early 2010s. Way better.
Yeah, well, sure. I mean, but based on numbers, if there's 5 teams come out the East and 11 come out the West, the probability just based on the numbers is that a West team will win the championship. Right. But that's not necessarily true, because the best team could be in the East. That's fine. I see that and I understand that. But that doesn't mean that, because we've seen it. We've seen it, Chill, where there's a team in the West, not only where the best 2 teams are in the West, and that's it, but we've seen it where a 9 seed or a 10 seed in the West still has a top 16 record in the league. Yeah. So for me to be at home with a better record than the 6th seed in the East, I think is ridiculous.
Man, the Clippers looking at Atlanta like, man, we would have bust their ass. Them dudes in the Eastern Conference Championship, them dudes in the NBA Final, we would have bust them dudes' ass.
Killed them. Killed them. So it's just like that's crazy to me. And it's not an East versus West thing. You know what I'm saying? It's more so if it was the same thing in the East. If the top 10 teams in the league were in the East, to me that means only 6 Western teams should be in the playoffs. I want the best possible matchups in the playoffs. Yeah. So I think we're going to get better basketball in the playoffs. We'll get more exciting finals. Because I think that's an issue too, Chill. If you think about, for instance, if you think about the back Sacramento versus LA, that series is super exciting. But then now you get LA win and they go play against the East team. It's like, we're not watching this. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't want the drop off in the finals.
Right.
Similar to what happened recently, you know. So,
if I get Oklahoma City in Denver in the NBA championship, do I hate that? I don't know if I hate that.
I like it.
I don't hate that. If I get Boston and the Knicks in the NBA finals, do I hate that? No.
I like it.
I don't that wouldn't bother me at all. Mm-mm.
That's my only reason against about it. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully Adam Silver makes it happen. Okay, let's see. We got Classic. What's up, Classic?
Yo, what up, guys?
What up?
Yeah, and real quick on the 16-team tournament logic, I actually love it. And Chill, your concerns about the Eastern Conference and Western Conference MVP, I actually think that there should be an MVP for every round and every series of the playoffs, because I think that the playoffs are just that important. So we should have each series, they should have an MVP for every round. That way, I think that'll help with like some of the guys' legacy. Because like even if you don't win Finals MVP, well, I was still the best player in the first round, the second round.
If I get, I don't know, if I get Oklahoma City against, I don't know, Atlanta, do I really need an MVP for that series? Is that really that important?
Yeah, I think so. Just because, like I said, Atlanta, even though Atlanta may not be a good team, you were still the best player in that series. And then if you don't get the next round, like if you're not the best player the next round, it just shows that you have a good team. So I think every round should be valued. I think that might even.
Do I need an MVP to validate that? We already know you was the best player in the series against Atlanta.
But
in
like,
the first round,
what about with the Celtics? How like you got Jaylen Brown winning Finals MVP, and then you got people questioning whether is he the best player on the team, when Jason Tatum probably would have been the MVP of the first 2 rounds. So I just think every round is important to me.
Well, what if we
got guys that get upset the first round?
Sure, that I feel like that's fair. But what if we, instead of for every round, like right before we got to the Final Four, like we had not a regional, but like something like that, something to the effect of like we had a regional MVP. Like you were the MVP of this bracket. In order to get to the Final Four, like what we got right now, when we got brackets, okay, so we got a 16-team bracket, and in order for you to get to the Final Four, you got to win this bracket. And if you win this bracket, Joker or SGA or Jason Tatum, you're the MVP of this bracket. And then the Finals MVP is something separate from that. Does that work?
Yeah, I would be cool with that. And then I don't like how like the teams that don't make the playoffs, how they get like to start their offseason early. And I think that they should have like a playoffs for the teams that didn't make the playoffs. They have to battle it out for the number 1 seed. And then the guys that got kicked out of the play-in, they can battle with the other teams for the rest of the draft.
You suck. So you get the end your season early. But no, you don't get the end your season. You got to keep playing, even though you suck.
That's crazy, Classic. Because then you like, if you have them play, that's like the better of the worst teams are always going to get the one
toilet bowl. That's what we got. Like the car care bowl in college football.
So like the teams with the worst
Charlotte's going to be
they got to play it out for the first draft pick, and then you can like kind of like go on from there. Like still have it to where it's a chance somebody that had like the 5th work. Like I think they could figure something like that out. But just I want to talk about like the Bradley Beal thing. Yeah, and I disagree with you, Alex. I don't think he's still a good player right now, and I would much rather have Gary Trent Jr. than Bradley Beal. I thought that Gary Trent was great for the Bucks this year, and he complimented Giannis well. And I don't think you can just replace a guy like Bradley Beal, who's used to being like the guy who's used to making a bunch of money, and just say, well, yeah, he can just help the Bucks. I think when like Chill, you always say it, when somebody shows you who they are, believe them.
Yep.
Bradley Beal showed us that he don't want to take a lesser role to help a team this year, and that showed me a lot.
Well, did he show us that though? Because Classic, when I watched him in Phoenix, I mean, he was the third guy, and he was still 17 a game. And I'm not blaming him for signing that contract. That was the contract that Washington put on the table. If Washington doesn't put that contract on the table, he's not getting that contract. But I'm not gonna fault him for not just signing that contract, but for getting injured. He's still a damn good basketball player. He's still one of the better one-on-one players in the game. He's still one of the better shooting guards in the game. Still, especially with that weak hand, getting to his weak hand, getting to his pull-up. He's still one of the better guards in that aspect. Now, if I put him in a space with Giannis, I put him in a space with Miles Turner, how much more productive could he be? I think, barring injury, I think he could be great. He's better than Gary Trent today. And he's a better fit on Milwaukee today than Gary Trent Jr.
Yeah, I mean, I think he could be a better fit if you give him a bet minimum, but I'm not giving him nothing over that. Well, until he proves to me, but I wouldn't take a risk on Bradley Beal after what he just showed in Phoenix. Like, why couldn't they make that work in Phoenix when you got three guys that are supposedly great scorers? Why couldn't he take like a lesser role and say, hey, I could be like a Manu Ginobili? Or why did he get mad when Coach Bud said you could be a Drew Holiday? Like, you're making all the money, you should be open to taking a new role. So
well, you're not going to turn me into something that I'm not, Classic. I mean, now don't get me wrong. Just because I'm making all the money, that doesn't mean that I got to convert into just anything. Like I'm making all the money, so now you want me to play power forward. Well, I'm not that. That's not my game. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm willing to do what it takes within my ability. That doesn't mean that just because you said I'm Drew, you want me to be more like a Drew Holiday kind of player. That's not me. That's not who I am. And you're trying to turn me into something that I'm not, which is not going to enhance my game, and it's not going to help the team.
Right.
Yeah, I disagree, but yeah, I appreciate you guys having me up.
Absolutely, brother. Good to talk to you.
All right, Classic. All right. Yeah.
Ox, I'm starting to lean more towards that. Bradley Beal is a baller. He is.
100% he is. But I don't think we can blame Brad for what happened in Phoenix. I think it's a lot of everybody just not being able to mesh together. I mean, if we blame Brad, we got to blame KD. We got to blame Book. We got to blame Bud. We got to blame everybody. So, and I think it's fair to blame everybody because that team had enough talent to be good. So there's that. But let's see what Leaf got to talk about today. What's up, Leaf?
What's going on? Y'all can hear me? I'm loud.
Yeah, you hot. What's up?
Yeah. I ain't really interact with him, but shout out to what's the ballhead kid on Swiper yesterday, bro. For what he said. This channel, y'all channel, is when you got 130 subs, man, ain't nothing small about it. You know what I'm saying? So in the last 3 years, man, the conversations that I had with y'all pertaining to basketball.
That dude that said that, he a sucker. That dude was.
I don't even know who said it, man. I don't even want to point him out. I ain't put no name on it, but I will say this: the Allen Iverson disrespect stops today. It stops. It ends today, bro. Like, listen, I'll be damned if somebody that was that went head to head with Jordan, Shaq, Kobe, Paul Pierce, T-Mac, and outscored every last one of them on average. Don't get no damn respect as a scorer. If we just talking about scoring and shout out to you, Chill, because you turned the stove on yesterday when you said you an accolades dude, but yo, we taking that out.
Let's talk about balling. Let's just talk about
let's talk about balling.
Yeah,
and it ain't no way, shape, or form a young man. And I'm 5'10" and 3/4, and I'm almost solid that Allen Iverson is 5'9" and 2.5 quarters. Or whatever, so whatever. And he went out there and not only led the league in minutes, bro. And we always complain about players not hitting the court. You never got that with Allen Iverson at all. Not one time.
He wanted to play every minute of every game.
You damn right he did. He wanted to play every minute of every game.
Taken out of the game. That was funny, B.
He wanted to play every minute of every game. And when he went and when the very best that this game had to offer stood across from him, I just want to let you know he gave them all work.
Yes, he did.
He gave them all work. And just to let you know, Bobby, bro, he outscored Paul Pierce in more games. He outscored T-Mac in more games. He outscored Jordan in more games. He outscored Shaq in more games. He outscored Kobe in more games. So there's no way in hell, bro, that a 4-time scoring champion, if we just talking about buckets, don't belong in the highest or one of the highest tiers. I'm not having that at all, bro. Like, listen, I know you front line for Paul Pierce, but I'm front lining for Iverson today. That's bullshit.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. I think Iverson deserves to be second tier. I don't think I could put Iverson in the first tier with the first tier scorers.
That's fine with me. I mean, the first tier scores, we talking about God tier scorers. We talking about the Jordans, the Wilts, the Kareems. We talking about that echelon of scorers. That's fine with me, but I'll be damned if a 4-time scoring champion that duplicated the same exact career as Kevin Durant did in OKC don't belong in it.
So George Gervin in there too? Because he did the same thing.
Sure did. Yeah, you sure?
Okay,
absolutely.
Make sure we want
absolutely.
stick with the
absolutely.
Team.
I'm not leaving him out. But about the summer league, Chill, didn't you play in the summer league?
I played, yes, when it was in Long Beach. Yes.
It was you played in the summer league. But the summer league, listen, I'm looking forward to see what Ace do. I'm looking forward to see what VJ do. You know what I'm saying? Just to have these young guys out there and get their feet together and everything. But just to move on, I'm on different topics. The 16 best teams it's not needed. It's the play-in that needs to go. I don't need to see the 10th seed Miami Heat going in the first round and playing Cleveland. That's a waste of my time. Because we all know it was a brooming right from the get-go. I'm like, just to let you know, if they did that last year, Bobby, this past year, it would be 8 teams from the West and 8 teams from the East. The Hawks will be in the playoffs and not the Miami Heat. That's the only team that was missing. So realistically,
I feel on that, but it's not so much a waste of your time. You don't gotta watch it. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's a waste of everybody. You really want to see the 10th seed, Miami Heat?
The Miami Heat last season was not a playoff team. They weren't.
No, they wasn't a playoff.
I'm with you, Leaf. I'm with you. All I'm saying is
under 500 train a playoff team. You're not, yo.
Exactly.
No. But Leaf, all I'm saying is you could get rid of the play-in, the play-in, but that doesn't, just because we need to get rid of the play-in doesn't mean we don't need to implement the best 16. Because I'm tired. You know what I'm tired of, Chill? In Leaf? You know what I'm tired of? I'm tired of you East Coast dudes being places you don't belong.
There we go.
Hold up. Wait. Bobby.
I'm tired. I'm tired of the East Coast dudes having 30 wins, having 30 wins and making the playoffs, while my team has 42, 43, 44 wins, and we can't get in the party.
Bobby, just to let you know, the Sacramento Kings only started winning 40 games up until 2 years ago. Stop.
That's irrelevant, Lee.
Don't do that.
No. That's irrelevant. That's not what I'm talking about.
That's irrelevant because you said that. You said they had the same record as Atlanta last year. So you said that to send a shot, and you sent a shot at me because you already know I'm over here. I ain't moved to Texas yet. Don't start talking shit.
The East Coast do it too. Leave. What we doing?
Exactly. So I don't
care even if you move to Texas, you're still an East Coast dude. And I'm tired of these Eastern Conference teams. I'm tired of these Eastern Conference teams getting in parties that they don't belong in. Like, what are y'all doing here? What are you even doing here?
Why are you saying that like the Sacramento Kings?
How did you get here? You know what I'm saying? How did you get here? Okay, until I'm not
moving the needle.
Leaf, I'm not representing Sacramento right now. I'm representing the whole Western Conference. Okay, y'all are taking spots that you don't deserve. You know what I'm saying? Leaf, you're still in their jobs.
I'm not stealing no damn jobs. Okay. You out here, you not good enough. That's the problem. You ain't good enough. You ain't good enough to get it done. That purple, white, that beam shit, it ain't making it. It ain't good enough. I'm sorry, Bobby.
All right.
With all due respect, don't get me hot, bro. Stop.
You're already hot.
All right, Leaf. All right, chill. It's the week. It's the weekend, brother. Relax. Take a deep breath. You'll be all right, man. All right, Leaf. Yeah, man.
It don't take much to turn leave him. I knew where you was going to. I knew exactly what you was doing when you did that too.
Yeah, but man, we need to. Well, you know, whatever happens though, let's just keep the game going, y'all. That's all. Let's just keep the game going.
Word.
Keep watching basketball. Today is the beginning of the summer league. We got more hoops. We'll be back on Monday. The show is over. Go home. Go do something. Go get some fresh air. Work out. Just enjoy the weekend, man. Just enjoy yourself today. Just enjoy yourself. Chill. Got anything for the people?
It's nice. I'm in the Northeast. I'm in Jersey. I'm up here. My brother's birthday this weekend, so I'm up here. It's real. It's nice out this weekend. I'm gonna go outside. We're gonna go outside. We're gonna enjoy the day. So we will see you guys soon. Until then, put on a suit. Drink water. Don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother. When last time you talked to your mother? Call your mother. I'm actually gonna see my mother today. We will see you guys soon. Until then, take it light. We take it. Absolutely, man. I'm
with the fam right now. My mom downstairs. I'm about to go kick it, man. Y'all enjoy yourself. Have a good one, man. Never drink and drive. We'll see y'all on Monday on the panel. You do not want to miss Monday's episode. We got a treat for y'all. Pull up on Monday. Don't be late. Don't be late. Absolutely. All right, y'all. Y'all stay off of Twitter, y'all.